So when we say capture devices, we are talking about video and audio capture from the scenes that we are planning to monitor or to keep it safe, to have eyes on the installation. So initially we'll talk about video, and we'll talk about the different types of cameras that we have in the market to solve or to fulfill the project needs in each type of scenario. Okay, initially we have the box camera. We have, it's really like a box, like a square, and inside we have all the recording mechanism in this square here, in this box. And we have this front part here, the sensor exposer, the sensor that will capture this image and transform in it digitally to be transmitted to the NVR. So in this type of camera, these box cameras, we have the option to add lens. So we can attach lens, can be fixed lens, can be MFZ lens, so multifocal lens that you can zoom in a specific level. When we have the motorized focus zoom as well, so this type of lens has normally a cable here that you connect in the side of this camera to control the lens. And in the back here we have the cables. If it's like an analog camera, you know, the coax cable, the auxiliary power supply cable. Sometimes we have alarm input, alarm output, or the Ethernet cable if it's an IP camera. Okay. This type of camera, normally when installed indoors, we have a bracket here, like something like that will be installed in the wall or in the ceiling. If it's installed outdoors, we have an enclosure that is like a big structure, a metal structure that will protect the camera, you know, from rain and sun, let's say. The next camera that is similar to the box one, that is the bullet camera. So the bullet camera, basically it comes with this part that you fix in the wall or in the ceiling, and it's very similar to the box camera with the lens already embedded in this structure. And normally it's already created with a material that will be able to handle rain and sun, etc. Has some classifications like IP66, IP67, as we saw in other classes. This is a type of a bullet camera. So this part we will install in the wall or in the ceiling. We have a flexibility to adjust the angle, and then we can adjust the correct position. Okay, then we have the lens here, and we have the cables in the other part. The next one is the dome camera. Dome camera, because it's basically a rounded camera with a dome that it's made from acrylic or in other materials. And especially when we have like a IK10 rating, the one that will be able to support a hammer trying to smash this camera, the anti-vandalism camera, it will be made from, you know, stronger materials. So this dome camera, we have this plastic dome here, and the lens and all the sensor and all the mechanisms inside here. So we have this plastic bubble and the lens here and all the circuits inside, and we have all the cables. In the dome part we have another subtype, which is microdome. A microdome, it's basically the same thing as a dome, but we have a very tiny dome in a specific area here. So it's like a round structure, a round base, and a small bubble in one of the sides, and looks like this. So You have this structure here protected, and just this tiny part that we have the dome and the lens that you can adjust angle depending if you're installing in the ceiling, in the wall, or etc. The next one is called bow cameras, or turret on the region, or who calls it, but basically it's really a bow structure, and then we have an external part that keeps this round structure fixed, so you can adjust here the angle, and then you can screw here the fixing screw to make everything tied and fixed in the correct position. Here, I'm not sure if it's very have this screw here, but this is like a round, like really a bow structure, and we have this part that will make it fixed static in the correct position. PTZ, the PTZ camera. So the PTZ camera is the cameras that you see moving around in any direction and doing the zoom and etc. So this type of cameras normally is very expensive because we have motors that will be able to move around this heavy structure, you know, having the pan, the movement pan, this horizontal one, the tilt, the vertical one, and the zoom. So we have the zoom, the lens doing the zooming action as well. So this is the PTZ. Here it's moving in the pan axis. Here's in the tilt. So do the tilt, and then the zoom inside it will do the zoom in the lens. Normally it's installed like this. And then we have the fisheye. Fisheye camera, normally it's around the structure here as well, a little dome just like the micro dome camera, and we have the sensor here in the middle. This is the fisheye camera. So we have this round structure, the little dome here, and the lens inside of this dome. So this fisheye camera, we have the 360 view, the 360 degrees view, and it will, depending on the software that you have this camera, you'll be able to dewarp this image and act like a PTZ, like a ePTZ, a digital PTZ. So 360 degrees. Sensor camera. So this multi-sensor camera means that you have more than one image sensor capturing the scene. And this is very helpful because, for example, let's assume the PTZ. We have some manufacturers that created a PTZ. So we have it in the base here in the lower area, the PTZ that actually do the same, you know, PTZ commands that we know. And in the top here, we have 4 different static cameras, like a dome or something like that, and that you cover that sector every time, you know, 24/7. It will stay looking on it and recording full resolution there. So even that you're moving around with the PTZ, we are not losing any information around this camera. And this multi-sensor basically do this. It will combine. So I will put here, for example, let's assume that it's this way here, that we have 2 sensors and it's capturing here, and then this one is capturing here. So let's assume this one is getting this part and that is this part. The camera inside here, it will get a full picture. It will get a full picture. It will combine the 2 images in just one. And let's assume that we are talking about a 4 megapixel for each sensor. It really have the full 4 megapixel for this sector here, and then it will combine. So if you zoom in this area, it will not divide the resolution for all the area like we divide in the fisheye. Okay, and then we have next type of cameras. We have thermal cameras. These type of cameras are used in specific scenarios specific environments. It's not cheap. It's an expensive camera. Some regions, some countries have a restriction to import this type of camera. But it basically will detect the thermal signature of the target, and you'll be able to do like a perimeter protection or any other application. So, for example, if you have a perimeter in an area that you have like a forest or too many trees around the fence, or a region that it's a very complex scenario that you cannot distinguish if it's a person or the environment of the scene. The thermal camera will be able to detect if it's a person shape in the middle of the trees, for example, or if it's a wider area that you cannot have IRs or light everywhere. The thermal will be able to detect the temperature in a good range. That will depend, of course, of the model. So in a specific scenarios, it will be a very good solution. But again, it's very expensive, and it's very focused for specific projects. And the last one, it's similar to the others here, but I will put as a different type: the explosion-proof cameras. The most common type of an explosion camera are bullets and PTZs. So, but it's not like a standard PTZ. It's a different shape of PTZ, as you know, all this structure will require the mechanism that will not trigger an explosion. So it's a different type of camera that again is specific for a scenario that will require this type of application.